I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land where this series is recorded and created, here on the central coast of New South Wales. I pay my respects to elders, past and present, and to Aboriginal people continuing culture, knowledge and connection to country. Later in life, I came to recognise and honour my Aboriginal heritage on my father's side. So this is not a formality for me. It's a reminder that identity and story and inheritance matter. This series is about the patterns we inherit before we have the power to choose them. With respect to the custodians of this land, we begin with humility and truth. So we're going to go into episode 1, chapter 1, Inheritance Before Choice. You inherited a system before you had a choice. You didn't choose the emotional climate you were born into. You adapted to it. Today we're going to name what you inherited, not so you can blame anyone, but so you can stop calling training personality. And by the end, you'll have one sentence that tells the truth about what you shaped. Let's talk about hook, one-line anchor. A hook with a one-line anchor. You didn't choose your first training environment. You didn't choose the adults, the rules, or the emotional weather. You adapted because you had to. You had no choice. So reflecting on that, what did your environment train you to expect? Was it safety, tension, silence, or unpredictability? Ask yourself. Here's a challenge. Write one sentence. My early world trained me to expect, and you fill in the blank. My early world trained me to expect, and you fill in the blank. Here's a proverb. As the twig is bent, so the tree grows. Teaching point 1. People inherit atmosphere, not just stories. Atmosphere is the emotional climate. What's safe to say, what's punished, what's avoided, and what love feels like day by day. So if we reflect on that, what was the atmosphere of your home in one honest sentence? Think about that for the minute. What was the atmosphere of your home in one honest sentence? And let me offer you a challenge. Describe it in 10 words or less. And don't explain it, just describe what it was like. Not explain it, just describe. Here's a proverb. Where there is smoke, there is fire. Teaching point 2. Adaptation becomes identity when never examined. Adaptation becomes identity when never examined. The survival move that worked as a child becomes the default setting as an adult. It stops being a strategy and starts being who I am. So reflection. What survival behavior have you mistaken for personality? What survival behavior have you mistaken for personality? Here's a challenge. Replace I'm just like this with I was trained like this. Once this week. Just say it once this week. Replace I'm just like this with I was trained like this. Just once this week. Proverb. The fish does not see the water it swims in. And I want you to think about that. The fish does not see the water it swims in. Teaching point 3 of chapter 1, lesson 1. Context without excuse. Two truths can live together. You didn't cause the original damage, and you are responsible for what you build now. Reflection. Where do you use your past to excuse what you keep repeating today? Here's a challenge. Write, this explains me, but it won't excuse me. Challenge. Write, this explains me, but it won't excuse me. And here's a proverb. Understanding is not permission. Understanding is not permission. Now, viewers, this moves us into the episode challenge, asking you for some action. Name the emotional weather you breathed as normal. Name the emotional weather you breathed as normal. Use one clean word. Sharp, tense, silent, unstable, warm, cold. No story required. Just use one clean word. Reflection. If a stranger observed your home for a week, what weather would they report? Here's a challenge. Choose the one word and track how often it shows up in you this week. And of course, we've all heard this proverb. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's pattern awareness, not destiny. So let's close the bridge. Let's finish, get close to the end. You need to name it, don't worship it. Naming gives you leverage. Worshipping turns it into fate. And if you want to reflect on that, what pattern are you protecting because it feels familiar? Here's a challenge. Tell a safe person one sentence. I think my pattern is, and explain what you think it is. And here's a proverb. Truth stands when the curtain falls. And a wise conclusion, viewers. What you inherited explains you, but it doesn't get to own you. The past doesn't lose power because you understood it once. It loses power when you stop obeying it daily. Name the pattern, name the cost, and then build one new choice you can repeat. Peace isn't discovered. Peace is constructed. I'm Dr. J.W. Ayub. Thank you for listening to this talk. Like, share, subscribe if you feel in your heart it's worth it. And I will see you in Chapter 2, Lesson 2 of Breaking the Pattern, a structured path to peace. Bye for now.